disconnected, and I was diagnosed with a complex PTSD and dissociation. So like if like you would like let's say it was like the room was full, um, I was like disconnected, like literally like, and people would always complain like, why is she like that? What's wrong with her? You know, and it was just living in the past. Like not living in the past, it was just like my mind would just dissociate. And then when I tried shrooms for the first time, it was like I was literally facing my emotions, and that was like my biggest fear, facing my emotions, because I had abandoned my emotions when I was like 8 years old to survive. So then I was like, oh my god, like boom, it just hit me. I was like, oh, it's crazy. So I actually want to write a book about my story, and I actually want to go on a TED talk and talk about it, because I just feel like back then I just thought it was normal. I was like, like everything that I've been through, it was just normal to me. So when I tell people, they're like, what the like they just can't believe it. And then I was like, you never been through something like that? Because I assume that everyone's, been through something, But then when I tell them my story, they're like, oh no, you had it way worse. And I'm like, okay, because some people can't handle it. Like they can't handle like, how dark it is. And I've even told my therapist, and she's just like, she has to like take a break. She's like, okay, because it's like she gets like fed up. She just has to take a break, and I get her though. She burns out.
Yeah, so we'll probably get to hear a little bit more about all of that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just start in general. If you could just tell me a little bit about your childhood.
Mm, my childhood was fucked up. Like it was bad. So I was born in LA, Los Angeles, California, to a single mom. So it all started when my dad met my mom or whatever. He was an alcoholic. He was really abusive. He would beat my mom, and like he raped her. So that's how my mom got pregnant with my sister. And so he like was just so abusive and stuff, and then that like he provoked my mom to have a premature labor. So they said that since I was going to be really premature and I was not developed, that I was going to have problems, like, and either it was going to be like respiratory problem, or like I was going to be like slow or something. But my mom said that I've always been a fighter, like a survivor. So I guess survived and stuff. And then as we grew a little older, my dad wasn't like really around. He was an alcoholic, drug addict. And so he beat my mom to the point where he almost killed her. And like he would try to hurt us, me and my sister, but my mom wouldn't allow him. So she just called the cops, and the cops took him, and they like deported him to Mexico. So then we never heard of him ever again. So with time, like my mom, like I think all her past childhood, it affected her, and also the domestic violence, and she became abusive. So since she went through that, she like couldn't like, I don't know, like she just started becoming really abusive towards me and my sister. It got to the point where she had to call CPS on herself and get help for herself, because she was like beating us up all the time. And it was just like that for a while. And then I had like a grandpa, like a step grandpa, who like molested me and like would touch me and stuff like that. And I had teachers who were like that too. And I had like babysitters who, even women, like they would like torture me and my sister. Like they would like burn our hands, like literally, like just watch. And we would just cry and scream, like, why do you do this? And so they would do it. I don't know. Like I heard, like they do it mainly to like the strongest child or the happiest child who like, I don't know. I was just reading something about that, and they didn't really do like a lot of stuff to my sister because they felt more bad for her, because since she was younger, she didn't go through like as much as I went through. So, and in a way, I would try to protect her as well. So she was in childcare, and since I was a little like older, I would have babysitters who would take care of me, and they would like burn my hands. I had like a babysitter who had like her son who also molested me, and like he would come drunk and like just beat me up just because I would like touch his stuff or something. So I had that, and then with time, I was just like, man, like why does it like, is this my life? Like why does the world hate me? Like I was just so happy, and like every time people would like hurt me, I would just hug them. I would just hug the pain out of them. I would just say like I love you. Like I never had like hate towards those people. I could never. But with all that pain, I just kept on allowing it and allowing it and allowing it, until it got to the point where it was just too much for me. Like I was just like overwhelmed and stuff. And then with time, my mom met a man, and that was my ex stepfather. He was like, in the beginning, I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm finally gonna have a dad. He's gonna love me. He's gonna protect me, and stuff like that, which he didn't. He just made like everything even worse. Like he was like, he's the man who raped me, who like molested me, who like, because of him, I emotionally like was broken, because there was a point where my mom, she would allow so much. She was always there, and since she was like, I don't know what her deal was, she allowed everything. She was always there. So there was one time where um
Is the little phone thing on?
the phone thing.
Oh, okay. I couldn't see it. That's
Oh
why.
yeah,
Okay. Oh, yeah. There you go. There you
there you
go.
go.
There you go.
Cool.
That's good.
So there was this one time my mom went to work, and I remember, so my sister, she would always play outside. She was always playing outside, and like as I was like around 7 or 8 years old. Every time I would go and play outside with her, I realized back then I didn't understand why I did this to myself. I was like, why did I do that? Like I would torture myself every day. I was like, why do I allow all these people to hurt me? Until I started like
How old were you
understanding.
when you having
I
these thoughts?
was 8 years old. So from the day I was born, like I was already like had gone through molestation and torture and all those things. I was already like kind of like used to it. So when my mom met this man, I already thought that everything that was going on was normal. So everything that would happen, I thought was like, okay, this is my life. This is normal. So as this was happening or whatever, my mom was at work, and I remember like my sister would always go. She would That was her escape. Her escape was playing outside with the kids, because we lived literally like in the hood of LA, like the hood, like it was ghetto. And I remember like he would always call us, both of us, in. Like he's like, it's already late. You guys have to come inside. And he would make us do chores. He would beat us up, and he would like molest us. So I realized that, and I was like, like I was a child, but I understood. I was like, okay, I understand what he's doing. Back then, I didn't understand. I was like, why did I do that? Like, so what I did is I sacrificed myself for my sister. So I knew that if one of us stayed inside the house, he would just take it all on one of us, and he wouldn't call the other one to come back inside. So I was like, okay. So I would always like look at the window, and I would watch all the kids play while I was inside just crying and crying and crying and crying, because he would hit me and he would touch me. So I would always say like, I want to go play outside. I want to go play outside. But I never did, because I didn't understand why I was doing that back then. But now that I'm an adult, I understand. Oh, you did it because you wanted, to protect your sister. So I pretty much gave up me playing outside and me doing all that stuff for my sister, because I knew that if we both played outside, he would both like do all that stuff to both of us. So when I started like catching on, I would just stay inside, and I would allow my sister to play outside because she was younger than I was. So I would allow him to do all this stuff to me. So there was this one point where I asked him, because I had like a neighbor. I asked him, I was like, hey, can I go play with my neighbor, my little neighbor? And he's like, yeah, if you clean the whole entire house. If you clean the whole entire house, and if you do this. And I was like, okay. And I'm, trying to like do the dishes and trying to do everything. And so I did that. And then like he started like in the back, he started smelling my hair, and like I was like washing the dishes and stuff. And I was like around 8 years old. And then I was like, oh, I just want to leave. I just want to leave. I just want to go home. I just want to like go somewhere, because when I would go to her house, I just felt safe. I felt good. So I was like, oh, I just. And then like I remember finishing everything up, and he was watching TV. And I asked him, I was like, can I go to my friend's house now? I finished everything. He's like, he looked at his watch. He's like, no, it's too late. And I was like, fuck this dude. Like in my head, I was like a little girl. I was like, I don't care what he says. I'm still going to go. I'm tired of him. So I went. And when I went, he like noticed that I was gone. So he went to go knock at her house. And he's like, hey, is Yesenia there? She's like, no. I was telling her, please don't tell him I'm here. Please don't tell him I'm here. And then he already knew I was there, so he told my friend. He's like, you know what? If she's in there, tell her that when she gets home, like he said it in Spanish, he's like, when she gets home, watch. She's gonna know. She's gonna know what's up. And I already knew he was gonna beat my ass, so I was like, I don't care. He's already beat my ass, so I don't care. I'm just gonna have fun. So I started like watching Spy Kids with her. We were eating and just having fun. And it got to that point where I realized like, oh my God, my sister's gonna go inside of the house now. So he's gonna beat her up, or he's gonna do something to her. So I was like, oh, what do I do? I'm tired of him like hitting me. I'm tired of him like doing those things to me. So I did this plan. I was like, okay, I have a plan. But I never told anybody. Like I just told my friend to like help me to like go through this to go through the window because we lived in an apartment building. Go through the window and like so I can like go through the window and like just go to like my room, my mom's room, and just lock myself in there and lock my sister in there. But I didn't think things through. I was like 8 years old, so I was like, "Ah, I'm just gonna do that, you know." So I remember like I was climbing out like through the window and like it was a pretty big like it was a pretty big building like from the floor to the window. So I was climbing and then my friend kept on asking me like, "Why are you doing that?" And I was like, "I don't know, it's because I'm scared, dude. Like I'm scared." And she wouldn't really ask. She was scared too. She was like she would just help me. So I remember she tried helping me and I was thinking like God, like please, like I would drink like you know those Red Bull commercials where it says Red Bull gives you wings,
Yeah.
and I was like, God, like just give me just give me wings like at this moment so I can just fly to like my window. And then I was like waiting. I was like, nope, there's no wings. And then I was thinking, oh, give me Spider-Man hands so I can like climb into the walls and like go to my mom's room. And then I was just waiting and praying to God and praying to God, and I was like, nothing's happening. Like, come on, like I'm hanging out here. Like I'm giving up. So that's when I kind of like try to like go to like the next window, and I was hanging onto that window, like hanging on, like literally like with my hands. And my friend wasn't there to help me. So then I was like thinking like nothing's happening. Like, what can I do? So at that moment, I told like myself like, God, can I just go with you? Can I just go with you? That's it. And I let go and I hit myself really hard on the floor. And I like for a minute like I hurt my head and I like hurt my back and I was kind of like unconscious for a little bit. And I was like, am I in heaven? Like am I like where am I with you? And I woke up and I was like, I hate you, God. Like I can't take it anymore. Like I pretty much I just tried to commit suicide basically. I hit my head, and then like a little bit of like blood and like water was coming out of my ears, and I was just in so much pain, like my back, my head, and I was like prepared. I was like, you know what? I already know he's gonna beat my ass. I don't care. Like I'm used to it. I'm giving up. I don't care. This is my life. So I go back to the house, and right then and there, he started like beating my ass like so hard. Like he was beating me like so hard. Like if I was a man, like he beat me so hard and I was bleeding from my teeth, from my head, like everywhere. And like he got the bell, and he started beating like me on the back, just beating me. And I would ask him like, why do you hurt me? I love you so much. Why do you do that? Why do you do that? And I tried hugging him, and the more I would do it, the more he would just hit me. He's like, you never listen. You're just a bad child. Blah blah blah. So then I was like, okay, maybe I am a bad child. I started to believe that. I started to believe I was a bad child. I started to believe everything he would say. You're disgusting, you're a pig. That's all he would always say to me all the time. So that day, like I remember me and my sister had like bunk beds, and I went to like the top of the bunk bed. That's where I would sleep, at the top. So I fell asleep, and then my sister, she knew what happened, so she told my mom. She's like, Yesenia fell and he hit her. And then I remember like my mom waking me up. She's like, Yesenia, this is how like my mom was really like, I don't know what was wrong with her. She like saw me. She saw my face. She saw how bloody I was, and she like lifted up my shirt, and she saw like all the blood from my back and everything. And she said, Yesenia, wake up, because if you don't wake up, you're gonna die. That's what she said. And I was like my head. I was like, what the heck? Instead of taking me to the hospital, like what's wrong with you? Like, do you hate me too? So it's just that day. That's when I realized like I hate everything. I hate everyone. And that day, like I had abandoned my emotions. Like what I did is I got a pillow in the night, in the middle of the night, because I had a fever and I was just in so much pain. I got a pillow, and my sister was sleeping underneath, and I just screamed everything I had to, like screamed and cried, and I was like, God, please help me. So that's the day that I abandoned my emotions. I was like, I'm gonna be numb. So I remember that same
You
day.
were 8 years old.
I was 8 years old. That same day when I was crying on my pillow, my sister heard me, but I was like screaming on my pillow, and she went up the bunk bed and she said, "What's wrong, Yesenia?" Like, and she was crying, and she tried hugging me, she tried kissing me, and I was like, "Don't touch me, don't hug me, don't kiss me, just leave me alone." And then, like as adults,
How did that feel? That moment?
that moment
Yeah.
when I pushed her away,
No, when you just so that day, and then with the pillow, and you're making the decision to just
it felt like I like took all my emotions and like pretty much screamed them out to the pillow. Like I was just like screaming, like crying. And that day I was like I became like numb. That day I was just numb to the pain, numb to like I was like I didn't exist. I was just like I put like a little wall so I could not feel nothing. So that day she asked me, she tried to hug me because I was crying and I was like rocking myself. She tried like hugging me, like, trying to kiss me. She's just tried to do that. And so as adults, one time we were like laying in bed and watching the stars, and she asked me, she's Yesenia, can I ask you something? And I was like, yeah. She's like, why didn't you never let me like love you, like hug you, like why did you push me away? Like I was little too. I was there too. And then I was like, what do you mean? She's like, I needed you. I needed your love. I was like, and I thought about it. And when I was like kind of like watching the stars and like thinking about it, I was like, why did I do that? And then that's when I answered her question. I said, because if I wasn't strong enough for you, and if I wasn't strong enough for people, we wouldn't have survived. And then she's like, okay. Like she just took a break and she just went, like, she kind of like got up and she went somewhere to cry. She didn't allow me to like see her. Cause she just looked at me like people look at me like, how are you so strong? Like, how did you do it? Like, you know? And I just tell them like, because I think I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice but to be strong. Like, if I wasn't strong, I wouldn't have survived. Like, literally, like, people always asked me, what did you want to be when you grew up as a child? And in my head, I was always like, I don't know. I don't want to be a nurse. But in reality is, I just wanted to survive. That was like my mentality. Like, what did you want to be when you grew up? I just want to be happy.
Would you say you had any dreams as a child, if you can remember?
No, I just wanted to survive. That was my dream. My dream was to be happy. My dream was to have a family and to just be a child. That was literally my dream.
I know you talked about your dad, or your dad was gone. So the next question is, can you tell me about your relationship with your dad? Since he wasn't there, your actual dad, how did it feel not having him there?
Mm. So my mom, she never really talked about him. I just assumed he was dead. Like he was never really there. Like all I ever wanted was a father. I was like, I want someone to protect me. I want someone to make me feel safe. So now as an adult, he tried coming back. Like I'm like 24, and I already have a child, and I'm like, I don't really need you, and he hasn't changed. So I'm like, dude, I don't need you. Like he acts like he's a victim,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you don't know anything, dude. So like right now, I don't really mind. Like I feel like I just I don't know. I don't have nothing like I don't have no hate or no nothing against him, but I just don't have that relationship with him.
What about your relationship with your mom? How does that feel?
So it's gotten better. Back then, I did confront her, and I was like, "Why did you allow all these things to happen?" I asked her, "Why did you abuse me?" Because I remember there was one time too where my escape, like I feel like as children, we all try to cope, and we find little things to cope. Like as adults, people find drugs, alcohol, sex. That's the way they cope. As children, you don't have that choice. So I remember I had like a friend in school where she would show me this like playlist of music, and I was like, I want to listen to music. And then I remember there was this guy who was like a teacher assistant sort of, and he's like, oh, I can make you a CD if you want. And he made me a CD, and I was so happy, and I wanted a CD player. And my stepdad, he like the one that was like really abusive. I asked him if I could have his CD player, and he's like, "What do you want it for?" I was like, "I just want to listen to music." So I remember like listening to music, and I was happy, and that's the way I would cope. And my mom, she saw that. She's like, "What are you listening to?" And my mom was like, she was really religious, so she's like, "What are you listening to?" And I was like listening to like just basic that's music, and she's like, "You're not supposed to listen into music that's not like God." And I was like, what? And she got my CD and she broke it in half. And I was crying, and I was like I just want to survive. Like I want something, anything. And I hated her for like, I didn't hate her, but I just never had a relationship with her. I never interacted with her. I never cared for her the way that my sister cares for her. And now as an adult, I've talked to her about it, and she's always like try to apologize. And I don't like my mom. My relationship with my mom right now, it's like, I guess it's okay. It's not bad. It's not good, but it's good. It's like okay, I guess you can say.
How does it feel now and when you were in it to have a mom who's religious, but who physically does the opposite of what a good religious person's supposed to do? How did that feel dealing with that?
Back then or now?
Both.
So back then, um, I feel like the whole like the religious, it was just people. I just didn't. I never understood. That's what I felt back then. I never understood it. I was like, tell myself as a little like as a child, I was like, why do people act like that? Like I don't think God is like that. But I was just I didn't know. So now I tell like now I feel like the whole religious part is like no, like that's not the way to do it. Like
Yeah.
people think they go a different path instead of they go deep and they think that they're God. I don't know. That's what I think. I'm not a religious person. I'm a more of a spiritual person. I believe in God, but not really in religion. Yeah.
What would you say is the ultimate thing you learned from the relationships or lack of that you had with both your parents? What would you say you took from that or you took from that experience from them?
Mm, I never want to be like them. That's it. Never.
That's not. You learned something, you
Well,
know.
literally,
That's
that's.
sometimes that's yeah. It
I mean,
can.
I learned that
You learn what not to do.
I never want to be like them,
Yeah.
and I learned that everyone has something like a bad childhood, I guess. A bad, like, their story was bad as well. But, like, I said it like this I was like, you know what? I understand you as a child. Like, I've forgiven people because I go back into the past and whatever they went through, I go and hug them. I tell them as a child, like, you're okay, you're safe.
Yeah.
I promise you. And I protect them from whoever's hurting them. But as adults, and this is what a thing that I like had a hard time like understanding. But then later on I realized like I don't have to understand because and I told my mom I will never understand you. Like because as me as an adult, like I went through so much and I never hurt my child. I had to hurt myself first and go to therapy and try to hurt myself before I ever hurt anyone who was, like I love. Like I just can't do that. So I mean, I guess I've learned that I don't want to be like them, and I learned that they had their own demons or their own whatever.
Can you tell me about your first love and how
Mm,
that felt?
my first love.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. I guess I don't think I ever be like I've had a first love, but that was not love. Honestly, like I feel like I've.
It could be anything. It can be a person. It can be something you like to do. It can be whatever you can identify as your first love.
Mm, my first love, I guess, was my sister. Yeah, my sister. When I guess that was what love was when I tried protecting her every way I can. Yep. And it was beautiful because it was something that I felt like since no one loved me, I needed to love someone. Well, in that when I felt like nobody loved me, so like me loving her was like, yeah, how I did. I guess I did it.
Can you tell me about your first loss or heartbreak and how that
Oh man, it was horrible.
felt?
Oh man, my first heartbreak. It was actually with the father of my son. He broke my heart like bad, and it was hard because I have a child with him, and I was like, man, like I wanted a family, something that I've never had. But I learned something from it, and I feel like I guess you always learn from something from it. So, but it was yeah, it was painful. It was hard.
How pain? How did it feel? In picture that moment of pain or the moments of pain. If you could just
Oh
quickly, like, how
man,
would you describe it?
I was so heartbroken. I just would like lay in my bed and just cry for days, or like watch some sad movies on Netflix. Just eat a lot of ice cream. Probably get drunk with my friends and just it was horrible. It was like, man, I would call him like, why? I just wanted us to have a family, and like I promised I would change. Like it was not even like that. It was just He's like, I just don't love you anymore, Yesenia, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And then he tried coming back, and I was like, whatever, dude. I'm over you. Like, no. But yeah, like, it was just, yeah, it was hard. Like, I remember my sister, people were just tired of, like, oh, you're crying again. I'm like, yes, you don't understand because you don't have a child with the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would you say first taught you love and how?
I guess the father of my son taught me love. Like, I just, I feel like I didn't love myself, and he, like, so in a way, also, like, taught me how to love myself. So he's the one who showed me how to, like, he showed me love. hmm
How would he teach you to love yourself?
I would always feel like when I was pregnant, I was like, I feel so fat, and he was like, no, you're fine, you look good, you blah blah blah. Like, he would. There was days when I was so depressed, and he would, like, I would not shower. I would just be in my bed, and he would, like, come on, let's go shower you, let's go take you a bath, like that. He would be really what's the word, attentive, or like really, like, hugs and kisses, and I would just feel like not safe. Like, I was just like, no. In a way, like, he taught me love, but in a way he also taught me bad things. Like, he was the first taught me how to do drugs, how to drink alcohol, and, like, it was like, I guess, a mix of both. Just,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's love to you? Has it always been the same or has it changed? So, what was love to you when you first thought what love was to compare to what it is now? And how do those two different loves feel?
Ooh, they're so different. So back then, what I thought love was when people, like, men would touch me, and, like they would. I had, like, like a step grandfather, who would offer me an ice cream and be like, hey, do you want an ice cream, or do you want this? And he's like, when he would, like, touch me, like, molest me, and I was like, oh yeah, that's love, you know. Like, I always thought that was love. What people, when they would hit me, or when they were like, that was love. What people offered me back then. Now I, like, realize that love is what I feel for my son, because I didn't allow what happened to me onto him, because I remember I gave birth to my son, and I could not feel nothing. Like, I couldn't feel nothing, and I was, like, disconnected. So, like, I realized that, and I forced myself to cry. And that, to me, I discovered that now, that's what love is. When you don't allow what happened, like your demons, or, bad things, to go onto a person, like a person that you
Yeah.
truly love. That's what love is. Yeah.
How do you feel knowing that you broke the cycle?
I feel like there's this, like, one post I think I've seen. It's like, I think, like, a Simpson, and he's, like, talking to, like, all these, like, little kids, and he's like, man, I broke all these cycles for all you guys. You guys better be grateful. Like, man, I had, like, years of, like, it was just, yeah. I just feel like I feel really free. Like, I feel like it feels freeing.
Yeah.
It feels, like, peaceful.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
What's a general good day for you?
General good day is, I think just having my family, like, waking up and just knowing that my son is there, my family's there, and, like we're all, like, eating together, and, like, just going back into my phone, and, like looking at our family picture, and realizing, like, talking to, like, myself, and, like, looking at that family picture, and me telling myself, I did it. We're free. Like, we're safe.
Yes.
Me and my sister, my mom and my brother, we're safe. We're good. We did it here. That's like a good day for me, I guess.
What about a bad day? And how do you get through that bad day?
A bad day, I guess. I just kind of, like, a bad day for me is, like, when, I guess I can't really say bad days, because I always tell myself, like, I've been through worse.
Yeah.
I've been through worse. Like, that's not, like, this is nothing. Like,
Yeah.
so I guess, like, a bad day can be, like, when my son is sick, or, like, someone that I care about is, like, doing really bad, and that's a bad day for me. Yeah.
What are two things or people that have shaped you, good or bad? How does it feel when you reflect on them?
Uh, can you repeat the question?
Or we'll just say one thing. What's one thing or one person who shaped you, good or bad?
Hmm. I guess there was a couple people, but this person, it was this guy that I met recently, and that's when we like did shrooms, and I was like facing my fears, my emotions, and I was crying, and I just wanted to be alone, and I was crying, and my sister, she came outside because I was outside trying to like just be by myself, and she saw me. She's like, "What's wrong, Yesenia?" She did the same thing as a child, like, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" I was like, "Nothing, nothing. I'm fine. I'm fine." And then and she's like, "You need to talk to me. Like, stop doing that." And then I told her, I was like, I just, it's like the past. And she's like, "Dude, you have to not think about it. Just don't think about it." I was like, "I can't. Like, it's there." And then I started crying, and she's like, she didn't know how to deal with it. So she told the guy. The guy came out, and he's like, he shared his story with me about his past and his childhood, and he was like, "Look, Yesenia, I don't know you, but I can tell you this: you're a strong woman."
Yeah.
He shaped me, and he's like, he told me that I was a strong woman,
Yeah.
and I felt like he's like, I was like, "You don't even know me, like what?"
Yeah.
He's like, "You're a really strong woman. Like, you see that diamond right here that you have tattooed here?" I was like, "You say that it doesn't have a meaning, but reality is you're that strong diamond,
Yeah.
and that's why you got it." And I was like, "Oh my god, like you're right. Like I am a strong woman. Like you're totally right. Like you don't even know me." But yeah, he's the one who kind of like I feel like he shaped me as a woman I am today, like right now.
Just in that moment, that's powerful.
Yeah, literally,
Right?
literally, like he's like, "You're a strong woman, and you don't even know me." Like, you know.
Do you return that favor? So you had a gentleman. Essentially, what he did, he was positive and he spoke life into you, and he just told you something that's apparent. Do you pay that forward?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Every time, cause I'm a bartender.
Yeah.
So back then I just didn't. I would always try to be like, try to like hear people's stories as well, and especially when they're really drunk, I could hear
Yeah.
that they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
So I try, but I felt so disconnected, so I didn't know what to do or to say. But now that I'm like this like
Being
person,
comfortable with being nice to
yeah,
strangers,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
like I actually kind of like share my story a little bit, not all of it, because a lot of people can't handle it. And I tell them like, "You're a really strong person, like like you can do it. Like I know life is hard, but there's God." Or I try to like just talk to them about different things, and they look at me like, "Wow, like yeah, you're right. I am strong." And I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah.
What's inspired you?
What's inspiring?
Inspired you?
Inspired me?
Yeah.
Like I guess what inspires me,
Yeah. Or
uh
inspires you?
I guess people who share their story.
Awesome.
Literally, that's when people share their story. I'm like, wow, you're strong. You're a good person. Yeah.
What would you say has been a humbling experience for you, and how that experience felt?
A humbling experience. Mm, I guess my whole like when I was a child, I'd always like I'd always like get like soda cans and like just like crush them, and like I would literally just crush them and just go and sell them, because in California it's like aluminum is like actually valuable. Sell them, and like I think I was rich, I'd get like 20 bucks or something, and like
It's a lot of cans if you got 20 bucks.
I
That's a
would
lot.
like get all the cans, literally like everything, and like just get like 20 bucks. I was like, yes, I'm rich. I have 20 bucks,
Yeah.
and I'd give like dollars to like homeless
Oh, that's
people,
beautiful.
or like I'd like go to the 99-cent store and like buy a lot of presents for the people that I love. And I guess that's like a humbling experience for me. I was like, wow, I feel like,
That's
you know,
beautiful. So it felt
yeah,
humbling to get it and to give.
yeah, get and give, yeah, that's the experience.
Next question. So go in your mind and think. This life event can be mental, physical, or spiritual. Tell me about a time in your life that you can relate with the word war.
Oh man, it is, yeah, that is. I guess when I was at war with myself, because I couldn't understand myself. I guess it was like fighting those demons, like fighting those what people did to me, and fighting it. I do it every day, and I go war with myself, and I try to like not let what they did to me like go with others. So I guess I'm at war with myself all the time, because like what people did with me back in like as a child, I know that it can be like a cycle.
Yeah.
So I am literally at war with the voices or like myself, just trying to fight. Like no, no, I can't yell. No, I can't do that. No, I just that that's what I do. Literally, like when I'm at war is especially at night. I literally just cry all my I cry and I pray and I like just literally like read a book and just I'm at war with those demons.
How does it feel to just cry and feel again since you didn't let yourself
Mm.
do those things
It
for a
feels
while?
freeing. Feels peaceful. Like like when I'm doing it, it doesn't, but afterwards
Yeah.
it feels peaceful.
You
Yeah.
embrace your emotions.
Yeah.
So, same question. Go in your life, go in your mind and think this life event can be mental, physical, or spiritual. Tell me about a time that you can relate to the word peace.
Hmm. I guess that day that the guy he made, cuz he asked me, he's like the trees were
The spiritual,
awakening.
yeah.
So I was like the trees, I could feel like the trees blowing and like the fire, cuz we had there was outside and it was like a bonfire, and I was just here like crickets and stuff, and it felt so peaceful. And then and the guy was right there because I've never felt safe with anyone, not my family, not people around me. And he sat next to me and we were just enjoying it. And he asked me, he's like, "Why are you so down for me?" He asked me, and I started crying. I was like, "Oh my god, I feel weird. Like, why is he asking me that?" And he's like, and I turned around and I was crying. And I was like, because I feel safe
Mm-hmm.
and I feel so at peace, right when I'm with you. And I could hear like the crickets and like just the wind was blowing, and that was the first time in my life I felt at peace, literally.
Can you tell me about a truly difficult time in your life? And I think we've already touched on it. Um, and how you got through that. And I think we did talk about that already, right? Where it was
Mm-hmm.
just
Um, actually, there was a time when, as a child, I also just to cope to survive, I would, because I knew that. So my stepfather, he would drug me and my whole entire, he would drug us like my whole entire family. So I
how
would,
he drug you.
he would put stuff in our drinks to like I would see him, but I didn't know what was going on. I was a child, but I was like, I know that's bad. I'm not gonna drink that. I would just pretend to drink it. So I'd pretend like I'm sleeping. So I would be awake.
Mm-hmm.
Since I was like a child, I would always be awake, always, always. So the way that I did it was I'd pray and I'd say, God, I know this is a bad dream. I know this is a bad dream. I know this is a bad dream. One day I'm gonna wake up. This is a bad dream. This is a bad dream. Everything was going on.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Can you tell me about a truly joyous moment in your life and how that felt?
a joyous moment in my life.
The joyous moment.
I guess the most joyous moment of my life is when my son, when I connected with my son for the first time. That was the joyous moment of my life because I could never connect with him. And the day that I connected with him was like the best day of my life.
How'd you connect with him?
Um, we he kissed me on the forehead and I kissed him on the forehead, like that. And then he's like, "Mommy, I love you," and I was like, "Baby, I love you too." Yeah.
How old was he?
He was like 3. Yeah.
What keeps you up at night?
Um, I guess just like those demons when they try to come back. So I try. I drink melatonin and I try to go to sleep or read a book. But yeah, that's what keeps me up at night.
What keeps you going every day?
Hmm. My son, my family, um, my dreams, my goals. Yeah.
Imagine you're in the hospital today with only hours to live. What would be your regrets?
My regret would be not sharing my story for other people to use as a survival guide. Not sharing my story and not accomplishing what I want to accomplish, which is, like I said, sharing my story, writing a book about it, or going on a TED Talk, basically. Yeah. And when telling the guy that I like how I feel.
You're gonna make it. You're alive and well. Do you feel you can change? And if not change, make amends with any of those regrets?
Yeah, I can.
You told me your dreams as a kid were to simply just be a kid. What are your dreams now?
My dreams now, like I said, I want to write a book. I want to share my story. I want to be a businesswoman. I want to inspire the world to change their hearts. Literally. That's my goal, my dream.
You're the author of your life book. What's your picture perfect ending?
Mm, being alone with my son. Well, first, my son accomplishing his dreams and me being there to support him, me being his number one fan, and being finally alone, like in literally like a yacht by myself with no more kids and not a husband, just me by myself.
Happy and being able to feel.
Yeah.
And embracing life.
Yep.
That's it. It wasn't too hard, right?
No.